met her in the fall. He took her to a movie, and when they done it all, he took her to a movie.
Hello and welcome to the Fabulous Picture Show. I'm Amanda Palmer, and this is your insider's guide to the Doha Film Institute's annual film festival, DTFF, of which I have the huge pleasure of being the executive director. Over the past year, DFI's team of almost 200 people and 22 different nationalities have launched year-round education, regional and international film financing, and now we're about to deliver our second film festival. Coming up, a year ago, these Qataris just dreamed of making films. We see how Doha's now turning them into filmmakers.
I think I'm not gonna get this shot, and this shot is really, really important.
You're gonna get it.
And imagine a Schnabel, a Bouchareb and a Watiti. We preview the top films in this year's lineup.
She's poured herself into those shorts.
And we continue to ride the Arab new wave as it surges up Qatar's shores. It's really hard to believe that it's only a year since we had the first ever DTFF here in Doha, Qatar. I've got to tell you, we always said that the community was our #1 priority, and I will never forget when 5,000 people showed up on opening night.
Bringing an international film festival to the Gulf was always going to be interesting. What kind of films would find audiences? What kind of audiences would come to the festival? And what kind of unique experience could this Middle Eastern event offer?
I love Doha Tribeca!
The organisers, led by Executive Director Amanda Palmer,
We want it to feel inclusive as a film festival.
and Managing Director Maggie Kim,
Can we do a drop-off here, though?
had just 4 months to create this world-class event from scratch.
I think it's essentially going to be festival, film program, and vlog.
The challenge for an international team of 22 nationalities
We need a drawing for the central courtyard.
was to produce a different kind of festival experience
This is really uncharted territory.
and something authentic to reflect the culture and community of Qatar, a progressive modern Muslim country with deep respect for tradition and family values. But the project's ambitions went far beyond the festival itself. Within weeks, young Qataris were learning to make their own films from an educational program
I don't want any faces. I want them from the backside.
led by Oscar-nominated Palestinian filmmaker Skandar Kopti.
It's his first time making a movie, but he's gonna be fine. He's very talented, this guy. He knows what he wants.
Meanwhile, the key to connecting with the community proved to be the local volunteers.
We have about 881 volunteers registered.
Volunteers were going to go and spread out all this area with chairs.
And on opening night, that community voted with its feet.
I love you!
5,000 people turned out to see Mira Nayer's Amelia.
Assalamu alaikum, Doha!
People reflecting Qatar's diverse community.
I think it's really very international.
Awesome!
It makes me proud to say I'm Qatari, you know?
The fact why I came is because I understood that the ambition is with the word community. And for me, this is interesting.
When you make a film, it's crazy. You have to be obsessed to do it. And I think the only way you feed that obsession is to be inspired by other cultures, other people, other filmmakers.
She was someone who refused to accept boundaries.
The tank in the time that remains, also another problem. We did ask. The answer was very humorous from the Israeli army. They said, you know, we would give it to you for sure if you give us a thank you credit.
We're the new generation, and I think it was harder for a lady like Hiam to open the doors.
Thank you very much.
I love that lady.
We are here to inspire a new generation of filmmakers and support filmmakers in the region and enable people to make more films.
Basically, I'm curious to see who is watching these films.
It turns out everybody wanted to watch these films.
All the movies today are all sold out.
We have only 2 tickets remaining for the time that remains.
and audiences experienced them just as the directors intended.
I think it's brave and I think it's strong of the film festival to get films shown here intact.
But the end of the festival marked the beginning of something even bigger.
We had 5,000 people come out on opening night, and that was almost to tell us that truly that people were committed to film. Not just film appreciation, not just film education, but also wanted to have, I guess, a greater dream of achieving that film industry here.
And this year's Cannes Film Festival saw the launch of the Doha Film Institute, or DFI, which aims to establish a credible and viable film industry in Qatar.
From the moment I got to Cannes, there seemed to be a lot of interest in the Doha Film Institute.
DFI set up a range of year-round training programs to nurture local talent.
Take one.
We got it all. We got everything I wanted to get.
And provides opportunities through cultural partnerships and community events.
We are here for the comedy competition to find the funniest Qatari.
Like organising TEDx Doha.
So I get people coming up to me in the US asking me stupid questions. Like, dude, I heard all of you guys in the Gulf region have oil fields beneath your houses.
DFI is really doing a good job, sort of like getting us introduced to people like that.
Flip the paper like fast, like.
Crucially, DFI is already offering desperately needed film funding. Palestinian Samer Zobi is one of the first to get completion funding for his debut feature, Man Without a Cell Phone.
For me, it means that the film finally will be on the big screen, which is the dream of any filmmaker.
His debut feature, Man Without a Cell Phone, has its world premiere at this year's festival, DTFF.
نتأمل بالله أنك توقعنا على هاي العريضة.
إيش هي؟
هذا الذي أنقذنا من البلد.
Even before the film festival had begun, we launched the year-round educational programs led by Oscar-nominated Palestinian filmmaker Skander Kopti. We started with the one-minute films, and now over 100 Qataris have learnt just in 1 week to script, edit, direct, and become filmmakers.
Action.
10 of those films were then selected and judged by Hiam Abbas, Muhammad Khan, Robert De Niro, and Martin Scorsese.
Each one had its own beautiful sense of poetic imagery.
It was great encouragement, but it was also a sign for a new challenge. So we took 8 of those one-minute filmmakers, and now they are 10-minute filmmakers.
The Filmmakers program is a collaboration between DFI and Tribeca Film in New York. And the first stage of this project was scriptwriting.
So today was our first day at the workshop, and we sat down with Sabrina, the writer of Monsoon Wedding, and she kind of gave us an overview of structuring and how screenplays work.
The relationship needs to develop. So where are the sisters in the beginning of the movie? What's their relationship like?
Sabrina told me that I need to develop my character a lot.
Yesterday I finished my first script, and today they tore it apart. What makes a story interesting with conflict and tension and these kinds of elements, I'm still working on them.
After we did our screenwriting labs in New York, we came back to Doha.
We were lucky enough to have directors Sheikh Al Kapoor.
So tell me about the character, tell me about the graph of the character.
And cinematographer Sandy Sissel.
I just want you to practice camera, and I want you to practice doing really long lenses with focused pulls.
Yesterday was focusing on the art of shadow.
I learned about how color temperatures and how color itself can create space.
You guys are too far away from her.
Each one of us has kind of taken their turn playing these different roles on a film set. I had the job today of being a DP and just working with the director and the first AD.
Focus on her.
So we'll rec to her.
Yes.
Okay.
I ditched the rules.
That's the best thing you ever said. Ditch the rules.
Action!
I love it. If you can see here, like if you can see the ground here, the floor.
After the script writing workshops in New York and the practical workshops in Doha, it was time to start shooting 8 films back to back.
Our director is somebody that has to give a lot of answers to a lot of people in a very short time.
Now focus with me. I need people to be here, okay?
I was controlling a crew consisting of, like, the first day was around 72 people. Do this! I'm the director. I tell you what to do. I don't need this.
There's a lot of tension on sets in general.
Please back to your position, Habibi.
But sometimes when it's a very difficult location, then the tension is higher.
AJ, back to your position!
We're in a nightclub that has black walls. He insists on doing a 360-degree shot, and we haven't got a proper lighting rig.
Because it's such a long shot that we're going to see all corners of the room, so we're trying to figure out a way to light it where we're not going to get the lights in frame.
I still can see the reflection of the light.
When you visualize something in your mind, when you dream about it, it's all wonderful.
Get out of frame here.
But then, when you come to the set and you have visioned this shot, but it doesn't work.
I think I'm not gonna get this shot, and this shot is really, really important.
You're gonna get it.
This is the shock that a first-time filmmaker gets. That this is not as easy as I thought it would be.
Cross your fingers, cross your arms, cross all your limbs. As a first experience for a 10-minute film, it was terrifying, but then when I got used to it, it started to be really interesting.
Good job.
When the films were in the can, it was time for the editing process. I saw you working with the screenplay here. Well, it doesn't have any meaning, this thing. Just throw it away. What you have in your mind doesn't exist anymore. What you have in the hard drive is what exists now.
You make 3 films. One when you write it, and one when you shoot it, and one when you edit it. This one when he was stiffing money in his shirt. I think that the editing process is my savior. Like, sometimes I get a footage that really doesn't work with the context of the film, but the editing really makes it work. One of my scenes is about my leading actors. The scene is about her sitting in front of her vanity table and putting makeup. We intercut it with another scene while she's blowing balloons. Because, like, she's really trying so hard to look beautiful, and she's giving lots of efforts, and the balloons are the efforts, and every effort she gives, it pops.
You need to see face. If somebody's going through an emotional thing, you need to see his face, because only his face will tell you what he's going through.
I learned a lot of lessons about getting coverage in the shoot, and I knew I was going to make mistakes.
Sound effects really helps. You watch the visual on its own, and when you put sound into it, it enhances it so much.
The next phase was screening the rough cuts.
They've literally been putting these together until a minute ago. They ran in with the DVDs and we stalled you guys outside. It all worked out.
Trying to become a filmmaker is mostly about trying. Trying and succeeding sometimes, and mostly learning from their errors.
I was concerned about a certain scene, which is the balloon scene, but after the feedback I got, I think it's really working.
The reason of any artist that creates a work of art is to give it to the public. It's not his anymore.
I'm so looking forward to see my film finally finished.
In part 2, I'm going to give you a look at the lineup of this year's Doha Tribeca Film Festival, and we're going to have a sneak peek at the 10 Arab films that are part of this year's first ever competition.
He met her in the fall.
Hello and welcome back to this special edition of the Fabulous Picture Show. I'm in Doha, Qatar, currently organising the second Doha Tribeca Film Festival, which starts on October 26th. And our opening night film, we're incredibly honoured to be bringing a great international and Arab talent. That's French-Algerian filmmaker Rachid, Bouchareb, who will be opening this festival with Outside the Law.
The 1966 masterpiece Battle of Algiers famously depicts the Algerian guerrilla war against French colonial rule in North Africa.
Vous allez supporter ça encore combien de temps?
While Rachid Bouchareb's Outside the Law is the story of 3 radical brothers fighting for Algerian independence from within France.
Tu passes dans la clandestinité.
Il n'y a pas de place pour des passions personnelles.
The Cannes premiere resulted in protests, with hundreds of French nationalists outraged at the film's portrayal of the French occupation.
Bouchareb, hors de France! Bouchareb, hors de France!
You yourself said there's an importance of recognising history and the pain of history because, of course, it still echoes today.
At school, we don't learn colonist past of the France. Never, never. I think for the audience, it's interesting to discover the Battle of Paris.
Throughout the 8-year war, Paris became a battle zone as Algerians brought their guerrilla resistance to the mainland.
A war in Paris. Nobody knows that. Nobody.
Outside the Law is a sequel of sorts to Days of Glory. Bouchareb's Oscar-nominated salute to the North African troops who helped liberate France during World War II. They had long been denied the same recognition for their valour as French veterans. But Bouchareb's film moved then-President Jacques Chirac to increase pensions for North African veterans.
You grew up in France and you come from Tunisia. Is this an important film for you because you hear your history through your parents and your grandparents because it's not taught to you in France, is that right?
Ah si, bien sûr, ça crée un problème.
Yes, of course. It creates problems of national identity and assimilation. That can lead to discrimination because we don't know the other and we don't have the tools to understand him and therefore to understand ourselves.
But as shown by the recent rioting in Paris, for the current generation of French Africans, the dream of an ethnically integrated society is still some way off.
No one understands these are the children of the revolution, really.
Yes, it's true. And now we have in France a debate about national identity, immigration, from my point of view, because we don't debate about the past.
Outside the Law will have its Middle Eastern premiere when it opens the Doha Tribeca Film Festival.
So let's take a look at the rest of the lineup. We have almost 50 films, and it's taken 7 programmers who have scoured the world to find the most inspiring films for this year's Doha Tribeca Film Festival.
From the disabled musicians of the slums of Kinshasa
Equal pay or nothing.
to the car factories of 60s Britain.
All those in favour?
Both big-budget and independent films of this year's DTFF
He only does what he wants to do, exactly when he wants to do.
are bursting with hope in the face of adversity.
Miral, how nice to see you.
Miral is an epic, inspirational story of Palestine, stretching from the foundation of Israel to the First Intifada.
Some of you might have heard that there is an uprising, what has been called the Intifada.
Means stand up straight.
Miral is a film by acclaimed director Julian Schnabel, based on an autobiographical novel by Palestinian journalist Rula Jibril.
We live in paradise while our people struggle every day against.
The director and the novelist worked together on the film, so I would hardly call it an outsider's film in that sense, although the director is American and Jewish.
We are here for Miral Shaheen.
You cannot take her, she is a school child. She's not a criminal.
But alongside the drama, there's horror with Let Me In. Comedy from New Zealand's all-conquering Taika Waititi. Naughtiness with Stephen Frear's farce of the English middle class.
She's poured herself into those shorts. Hope they don't give her thrush.
And Eurodrama from an Iranian master, Abbas Kiarostami.
Notre anniversaire. Et qu'est-ce que tu fais?
You took so long in the bathroom, of course I fell asleep.
Quoi?
And this year the festival brings to the Middle East films examining the place of Islam in Europe. In Shaheda, German-born Muslims find their faith tested.
Du hast eine Entscheidung getroffen, weißt du noch? Dass du dein Leben nicht kaputt machen lässt. Und dass du das Kind wegmachen wirst.
On the Path examines how Bosnian Muslims are reacting to those influenced by the Gulf's more pious interpretation.
Luna, drago mi je.
Halal. Ne rukujem se sa ženom.
On the Path is a wonderful film from Bosnia about a Bosnian couple who are madly in love, but whose relationship comes under great stress when he adopts a Salafi perspective on life.
Muzika je grijeh, alkohol je grijeh, ženski glas je grijeh, glasno smijanje je isto grijeh, jel da?
I think it will ring true in the Middle East with many of the viewers. It's a very genuine film about real experiences, not just in Bosnia, but probably throughout the Arab and possibly Muslim world.
The feature documentary continues to evolve with films like My Perestroika, which offers a new perspective on growing up in the Soviet Union.
И мне вполне хватало моей прекрасной советской действительности. Боже мой, как хорошо, что я живу в Советском Союзе.
And we see Jews and Palestinians, Hamas and Fatah come together to stop the town of Budrus being split by the Israeli wall of separation.
Budrus, it's part of a greater movement of documentary filmmakers that are addressing the Palestinian issue, giving a first-person voice to people on the ground.
This year we'll have an Arab film competition, which will have 2 awards, the Best Arab Film and Best Arab Director, which will be decided by a jury.
Among those competing is the comedy Balls.
Nej, det går inte. Om du blir stark man måste göra så.
Det känns inte riktigt.
Hoppa, hoppa, kan hjälpa dig. Hej då!
Balls is set in Sweden by a Lebanese director, Joseph Fares. It's an Arab diasporic film. And their voices tend to be different from those that are coming from the region because their experiences are different.
Hairweave from Egypt's Ibrahim El Batut is a DTFF world premiere.
احنا عايزين الورق تخرج النهارده بس قدامك 10 ايام مفيش غيرهم.
Ibrahim El Batut comes from a documentary background. He relatively recently switched to making feature films, but he's done so in a very interesting way that draws on the style of the documentary, but in the context of a feature film.
In the Quarter of Scarecrows, a soldier struggling to guard a field against crows quickly conscripts the local children in this allegory about tyranny. Also making its world premiere at DTFF is Ghassan Salhad's study of isolation and desolation.
The Mountain is a personal essay by director Ghassan Salhad, who's the foremost art house director in the region. The film is wonderfully visually executed and of great emotional depth.
The winners of the Arab Film Awards will receive $100,000 each, enough to start work on that next feature.
Hoi! Wat doet spelen kung fu? Ja, Padora. Terug.
Well, that's it for this fabulous picture show, and I have to get back to the festival. If you want to find out how we do, well, check us out online. It's a whole new experience. If not, join us here in Qatar. You're welcome October 26 to October 30, and you can always join one of our 1,000 volunteers.